Just make it simple where you can understand.
Is that the report? No.
No, I don't think they are. They could be. I put notes on. I've never checked them out like that. I know. All right, let's call this meeting to order at 7:03. Open with a moment of silence followed by a story prayer. Prayer.
God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
I've been in prison most of my life, added up to about 198 months. And you know, that's a long time. I came out of prison. I was actually living on the streets. Started up using and drinking again just one time, and I asked myself, you know, what are you doing? And I went to the homeless shelter here in Hutchinson at the Noah Lodge. I met up with a man named Johnny Pope, and he kind of pointed me in the right direction. You know, he said, man, you need to try the Oxford House. You know, it's a sober living environment and it really works for people. I come here November 18th. I had a job within 3 days at McDonald's. And, you know, I've only missed 1 day of work in 6 months. I've been clean ever since, and things are going really well. I was very introverted when I come here. I didn't want to participate in any of the activities, be a part of the household, you know, but I've gotten so close to these guys because they're all got the same goal in mind, and that's to stay clean.
Hey man, I've had a real good week. Man, I feel like a big part of this house now, and I'm really fitting in, coming around, opening up, and taking on more responsibility. I'm just happy to be here, man. I love all you guys, and I appreciate every one of you.
Glad you're here, Larry.
My favorite thing about living here is, like I said, the camaraderie. I mean, we live in a very nice home. It stays clean, and it just teaches you good living skills and life coping skills. And there's things you have to go by. You have to attend meetings. You have to work the steps. You have to go by the house rules. You've got to obey every state, local, and federal law. There's just things that you have to do that will make this work for you, but if it works for me, it'll work for anybody.
All these houses are all run the same, so you can go from one house to another house in another state, and you're going to get the same outcome and same results. Everything goes by vote. You know, it's majority rules. Accepting a new member in the house, that's 81% or more, and the rest is 50% or more. Everybody has a chore to do. You know, we do chores twice a week, so everybody chips in, keeps the house clean, and keep this thing running. You got the freedom, once you're off orientation, you got the freedom to go out there and, you know, and spread your wings a little, you know, live a little. We have 2 nights in, 2 nights out in a floater, you know, a week that you can do, you know, so it's not like a jail or an institution. We have a lot of freedom here. Also, this gives you a safe environment, drug-free environment to be in, you know, where that you can actually come and regroup, you know, and learn how to live a productive life as a citizen. You learn how to pay the bills. That's the first thing we do is pay our bills. That's one of the only 3 things you can get kicked out for is not paying your EES on time, which is something as addicts we're not used to doing. We're not used to paying our bills. We follow the law, city, state, and federal, which, you know, in turn helps us to do that once we get out of here too. I'm now working for SAC, which is Substance Abuse Center of Kansas. And now I am a KCPM, which is Kansas Certified Peer Mentor. I'm showing them that it can be done. You know, as being an inmate myself 25 months ago, I got released April 21st of 2015. I walked out my corrections, you know, flawlessly, did outpatient treatment, went to college last year. Yeah, it can be done, and I'm there to show them that it can.
I don't know, I'm the youngest person here, so at some points it just feels like I have 15 other dads, you know, so I think it's a lot easier for me to retain advice that people here give me rather than, say, a counselor at a mental health place or something who has an addictions counseling license or whatever, but has never been an addict or an alcoholic and you know, hasn't used drugs to live. You know, as far as life goes, I've never kept a job this long really before. I got hired on through a temp agency, and I've, you know, just having conversations with my supervisors that they're proud of me, and you know, that I've earned their respect, you know, and that they trust me enough to do things that you wouldn't just ask somebody off the street to do, and so that's pretty cool too. You know, I don't really have a big fancy plan for my life really anymore. You know, whenever I was younger, my goals were, you know, be in a band and travel around and, you know, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, but you know, I think that I've kind of mellowed out, and my life goals are more along the lines of get married and have kids and live in a house with a white picket fence with, you know, animals and stuff, and just be normal, you know, just a calm life. I'm all right with that. If I had never moved into Niam, at this point I would probably be in jail, if not hiding somewhere. So being able to see daylight's pretty cool.
I've always been an addict. Started out drinking about 16 years old. It was all fun and games. Tried marijuana, moved on from there. Lost my dad in 2010. Got involved with methamphetamines. And that was within 4 years I was in prison twice. While I was in prison, I knew I had to do something different when I got out. I mean, I worked as hard as I could in prison to get out of that mindset. I worked with a guy because I was in work release that I knew had been in this house, and ended up coming straight for the prison, straight to here. It wasn't about what I wanted to do, it was time to do what I needed to do. Treatment will teach you how to get clean, and it'll give you a little bit of clean time. This will teach you all the responsibilities. I mean, I write all the checks for the bills. I pay the cable bill. I mean, the house pays it, but I write the checks, and that's something I've never done, is wrote out a check and put it in an envelope and addressed it to where it goes and put it in the mail. It's the accountability here too. I mean, you know, if you use, you're out. I mean, most of us don't care enough about ourselves, at least in our active addiction. We've got to have people that we feel like care about us. There's a brotherhood here, definitely. There's guys in the house I don't necessarily care for that much, but I respect them and everything they're doing, you know, and would do anything for them, whether I like them or not. People like Clifton and me and Justin especially, we just vent to each other. You know, we understand, we've all been there, you know. And the most important thing is we get through anything staying sober. We can lean on each other. You've got to have like some peers around you, you know, and you're gonna do what they're doing. I mean, there's some people out there still using that I love to death, but I cannot be around them. I mean, my family always stood behind me regardless of what I did. I mean, there was times they were tougher on me than others, but all through my prison time, and I can't let them down. My mom told me when I was in prison, she said, "Byron, I think if you go back to using, you'll die, and it'll probably kill me." And I can't have that on my conscience.
As we forgive those who trespass against us, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
I started to hope this.